think that's happening. What about you, Cone Dog? Cone Dog, the Snowbarian? Huh? Oh, oh, that little dog. Come on, video. You can do this. There it is. All right. And here we are. Hello, everybody. Welcome to You Assume a Problem. Episode number 579. I still have episode 500 gifts behind me. I've not made them. Oh my god, I'm so bad. Anyway, start off with the good news of the day. Got a call from the vet yesterday about monkey butt. They got the lab results from the oncology lab. They studied the tumor, and it looked like the tumor did not make any contact with any major blood vessels or veins or arteries or anything like that. And so the likelihood of it having metastasized is very low, which is why when they did the imaging, they didn't see any tumors anywhere else. So I set up an appointment with the special doggy oncologist. That meeting is not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. And we will map out a plan. She will probably get a round of chemo just to knock out anything that could be there. They're going to do a genetic test, specific genetic test on the tumor. And there's like 30 different kinds of treatments that can be tailor-made depending on what the genetic test shows. So we'll get that done. But good news for the monkey butt. She gets her sutures out supposedly Wednesday, which means she'll finally get the cone off and be able to motor around without having to like gouge out chunks of the drywall or accidentally shove the cat down the stairs. So man, she is an absolute monster bulldozer. She's like, you know, like a rhinoceros will just kind of like flick something out of the way with its horn. That's kind of what she's doing with the cone. She almost killed me on the stairs the other day. She just came right behind me and just shoved me with that thing. So that's good news. It's really good news for the monkey butt. So I should be able to talk more to the vet on Wednesday when we get her sutures out. Hopefully get them out. She still oozes a little bit out of a couple of holes down there. But yeah. So she's pretty miserable in this cone. She kind of hates the cone with the fire of 1,000 suns. But you know what? It's soon she'll have no memory of the cone. The cone will be a thing of the past and it'll be over. Other news, GME's kind of doing some February thing like it does every year. At some point, I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to buy an absolute butt ton of in the money calls for either end of March or the April monthlies, and sit on those, just fully expecting that come March, implied volatility is going to rise. We have swaps that are due in March. We also have the earnings report, which causes implied volatility to shoot up to the hundreds of percent, and that alone could, even if the stock price doesn't go anywhere, could double my investment, which would, you know, I'm okay with that. If you have signed up for T0, you're getting just tons of emails from them right now about T-Zorp and other things that are going live. Looks like they're ready to roll. So Beyond's making moves. Their stock price is still absolute dog shit, but they're making moves right now. So at least someone is. Federal judges seem to be very upset with how Doge is being handled. The Department of Government Efficiency. Basically, a bunch of racist 19-year-olds were given unfettered access to Treasury Department computers by the Treasury Secretary. And there was no safety protocols. They never did background checks. They never did security clearance checks or anything like that. They just basically sent those kids in there. And these kids not only are barging into like every government office and essentially compromising all sorts of sensitive data on citizens, employees, government secrets, etc. They also tried to do that at the World Bank. Yesterday, they tried to break into the World Bank and force the World Bank to allow them access to their computers. The World Bank is not a U.S. government agency. It is a sub-branch of the United Nations. And no, you do not have access to computers that do not belong. Well, they shouldn't even have access to the U.S. government computers. So it sounds like a federal judge is pretty upset with the violations of U.S. record-keeping laws and privacy protocols that have been violated by these guys. One of the I'm calling them children because none of them have had their frontal lobes fully formed yet. One of them didn't even bother scrubbing his online history of being in like Stormfront and other white supremacist groups. So yeah, so we literally have Nazis having unfettered access to all of our money and secrets. We live in the fucking dumbest timeline, man. So dumb. Anyway, uh, I posted I love to poke the hornet's nest over on Facebook Wall Street Bets because, as I've said in the past, they're the dumbest people in the entire world. I mean, half of them are Russian bots. The other half would, if given the opportunity, wallow in mud for the rest of their life if they could just say that N word without facing any consequences. So that's basically their entire MO. That and they're like, perp coin. So I posted a link showing that basically this might be the greatest internal threat to our government in history is these clowns hooking up their little unsecured servers to the U.S. bank accounts. So yeah. Like you get reports, Elon's like, look, U.S. aid paid $8 million to Politico for propaganda. And then it turns out they didn't. They paid $44,000 for subscriptions to academic journals that Politico owned. Like, and they'll say things like, oh, well, this uncovering corruption. Okay, point to the corruption they uncovered. One example. Just one. And then they just go radio silent. So basically what it's come down to is I just challenge every single one of them. I say, hey, if you could beat me in a game of Trivial Pursuit, I'll give you $10,000 cash. And then they just go silent because they know that I will fucking whoop them. Yeah, so there's news off the bat. Just the good news on Monkey Butt, which is pretty much the only good news I have going right now. The Mariners are going to have a shitty offense again. The nation's falling apart. But at least Monkey has a good prognosis. So, and Michael Mystery, you got great taste in shirts. I think you, sir, have great taste in shirts, as I have another Michael Mystery garb upon me. So, bing.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yoo-hoo! Turn that off, ding dong. There we go. Bill Coins got super chat right there. Shockwaves and unforeseen consequences. I mean, I think at this point we can see a lot of the consequences. They're pretty seen. I just see like just hordes of consequences coming over the hill with their flags raised high. They're coming there, Billcoin. Okay, to the chat. I have to remind myself, in 21 minutes, I need to give Monkey Butt a spoonful of peanut butter with some pills in it. So, spoonful of peanut butter, pills. Oh crap! What did I do? What did I do with the spoon? Oh, it's in my pocket. Okay. All right. So, shit. Monkey, you get a floor spoon. You don't care. You're a dog. So, spoon there, peanut butter there, pills there. Okay, we're set. Brandon Wells is supping. Brandon Wells has been first. That was 3 shows in a row. Pretty impressive. Latinum. I bought 14,000 shares of NWBO today because it appears they can do discovery on market makers spoofing their stock. Wish me luck. NWBO. NWBO shares. Okay, Northwest Biotherapeutics. Looks like they had a little pump here towards the end after having a dip for the day, but they're sitting around 26, 27 cents. Interesting. Where have they been? They've been as high as 30 cents in the last month. They've been as high as 37 in August. They've been as high as $2 in the last 5 years. So they got something going on. That's kind of... All right. Best of luck. Brendan Wells, Sup, No Labs, BBBY. A whole bunch of dockets just got dropped on BBBY. They were held for redaction, which, makes you go, but nothing too screaming on that. No Labs, they sent out another press release yesterday talking about, how was it they sent me? Where are you? Okay. Go there, go there, go there. Not there, not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. No Labs, there we are. So No Labs is appealing their New York Stock Exchange proceedings to delist. So they are appealing that. And then they sent out something else about their where are you? Okay, that's technology licensing thing. So they sent out a streamlined process to accelerate adoption and innovation of RFDS across diverse industries. Building upon No Lab's expansive intellectual property portfolio of over 300 global patents and several hundred trade secrets, KTL is dedicated to accelerating RFDS adoption by providing structured IP licensing, customization, implementation support. A key feature of KTL's offering is ERFDS, a patent-pending digital watermark technology that authenticates each RFDS digital signature, ensuring clients' patentability, patent security, counterfeit protection, and authenticity validation for users. Basically, they got their licensing thing that they announced about a month ago, and now this is a system to ensure that those who license it, it's like putting a holographic stamp on things. Like, this is the official document, product, etc. So they can identify when you have technology like this, you're going to have probably some Chinese spy steal everything off a laptop and then try to rebuild it all cheaper and sell it on Alibaba. So you're going to want to have at least some sort of authentic, legit device, so that insurance companies, etc., are paying for the real deal, not some knockoff. So yeah, those are the two things they announced. So that's what we got. Jay Geyser, can you speak to the Apex Clearing being caught loaning out shares and keeping profit? Also, Britain doing the same except with gold. AMC, Biggums, and Butcher both brought it up. Yeah, so apparently Apex was definitely lending out shares, not just ones they control, but ones that, like, if your brokerage uses Apex Clearing for doing trades on the major exchanges, they were using your shares as locates for lending, and they weren't paying you for it, even if you had lending turned off. Big law-breaking thing, but they'll probably just get a slap on the wrist and, like, I don't know, only one hooker as a present. Yeah, and then Britain has sold more gold than they have. So we might see some weird gold spikes happen with prices. Basically, Britain just short squeezed itself on gold. Oops. Like, yeah, sure, I'll sell it to you. And they have, like, nothing they can deliver. So now the London Metals Exchange has to go out and find gold somewhere at a price higher than what they sold it for, basically. So yeah, we got those two things going on. Apex, they're going to get away with it. They will. They got pointed out, and then the regulators are going to go, okay, you're going to pay a 62-cent fine, and you're going to promise me you're not going to do it again, guy who made billions of dollars off of it last time. And yeah. Yeah, so that's basically the underpinning of it. Kelly Reed, Vancouver house selling went up much more in January. The government is hell-bent on keeping prices from crashing because BOC, CMHC, and GOC hold most of the mortgages. It would decimate the Canadian dollar and plunge us into a recession not seen since the Great Depression. The problem they're facing is that they've already stagflated 2 generations out of standard of living, and the resentment is building to a crisis point. Oh, prices have to come down on Canadian houses. You just have to. It's easier to accept the fact that everyone who bought a home with a mortgage in Canada is going to be underwater on that house, and the best thing to do is just worry about bailing people out then. Let them do short sales, let them do chunks forgiveness on mortgages, or give them equity or something, or just straight up bail out the banks, than to, like, artificially inflate these things for a long time. There are several reasons why home prices in Canada, especially Vancouver, are as high as they are. They've always been pretty high. Even as a kid, when my dad was designing this one tower complex in Vancouver, the prices boggled my mind. This 1990, and these little townhouses were going for $600,000 in 1990. They're probably worth $3 or $4 million today, but that was still hundreds of thousands of dollars than you'd expect to pay in pretty much any other metropolitan area in North America. So they were way above prices to begin with. A lot of this began with the flight from Hong Kong. So 1997, China takes over Hong Kong. In the decade prior to that, rich Hong Kongese were fleeing. If they had $250,000 cash or more, they could put it into an account in Canada, get residency, and they would move. And they were just buying up real estate, and the housing boom was gigantic. You can just go to like look at Yale Town and other places and see all the complexes that were built there. And then with them came Triad. A lot of Triad. Oh, you can be driving through, the exurbs of Greater Vancouver, and you'll pull up next to like a $400,000 Mercedes GT, and there'll be a Chinese guy with a dragon tattoo on his face. And you're like, oh, Triad. There were lots of scams that the Triads were doing, where they would set up real estate offices and then force people to buy homes and sell them to like get commission after commission after commission. Also, a lot of foreign money went into real estate in Canada because it was a way of getting money out of China and into a hard currency market that was stable and would grow year after year. So there's a lot of foreign buyers in Canada, disproportionate to the population of the country. And so that, started in the major urban areas and then started spreading from there as everything got bought up. And so if you can go to rural areas and see the prices on some houses are just bonkers. And then a lot of people will point to like building codes in Vancouver. Oh, the building codes are too rigorous and they need to. The problem is Vancouver gets earthquakes, gets really, 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 really big earthquakes, and you need those building codes. So if you start cutting the codes on a lot of those buildings, you're going to be making them very unsafe. And then when 7.0 hits, everyone dies. So you're going to have to figure out some sort of way to work within those codes while maybe reducing the number of inspections. Like you can do build, one big inspection, build, another big inspection or something like that. Rather than have like, put electrical in, have an inspector. Put the water in, have an inspector. Put the studs in, have an inspector. You can just train these guys on multiple aspects of inspecting or something. That'd be one way to drop the price. But I think the biggest part in Canada is foreign buying by very, 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 very rich foreigners dumping money into empty houses. Canada fought this a little bit and had some success by putting a pretty big tax on empty homes. So if you have a house that sits empty, you're going to get taxed at like 1 or 2% a year on the value of the house. So if you have $1 million house, you're going to spend another $10,000, $20,000 a year extra. I think the tax should be larger. It did result in rents going down for a brief period as like they filled up mansions with college students because it's just cheaper to have them in there partying away than it was to pay a tax on an empty house. But yeah, Canada's going to have to change probably how moneyed foreigners come in. Either jack the price really high to limit how many can come in, or just sort of limit like property ownership to people who have had residency for X number of years or something. I don't know. I don't know the exact solution to that. It seems to me that a nation that's mostly empty should have cheaper land. But then again, everybody lives within like 100 miles of the border with the U.S. because it's just too cold elsewhere. Don't know what the solution is there, but what they're doing now, cutting rates and everything, isn't going to be the solution to that whole problem. Attending Oneness super chats. Yo Rock God, see that MGOL merger announcement over 250% in 5 days. F Nazis, F Elon. I did not see MGOL merger. MGO Global extends merger agreement with Heidmar. Okay, approved at 10.x current valuation. Damn, that's 12 hours ago. Okay. All right, so the price is currently at 40 cents, 50 cents ish. At 43 cents after hours. Let's look at this guy. Chrome. Where are you? That's Google Earth. That is, there we go. All right. So, all right, we had it at 12 cents, 12 cents, 12 cents. It has climbed from 12 cents to 50 cents basically in the last couple of days. The merger price is at what? So was it 10.7 times here, or was it 10.7 times here? That's 1 day ago. So 1 day ago would be the 6th. That's when it's at 31 cents. All right. MGO Global, Delaware-based apparel company with a market capitalization of $400,000. Okay. Has amended its business combination agreement with Hydemar Incorporated, extending a termination date February 28, 2025. Blah, 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 blah. So this is a merger with a company that's worth about half of what a house price is in a suburb of Seattle. What's the price though? What's name me the price for the merger, man? Can't just where was okay, let's see what this Reddit post has to say for us. 12 hours ago. Okay. MGOL's trading volume was 35.8 million. Yesterday, the trading volume says 375 million. That's a lot of shares to be trading for a company that has a market cap of $400,000. $300 million private company. Blah, 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 blah. Current trading price, 18 cents. So $1.68 million market cap then. Expected return 10.7 current valuation based on SEC approved merger. Okay, show me the price. So 10.7 of that. So $1. $2. So they expect to be a $2 per share price. Okay. Do they have an options chain? MGOL option. I think they're probably on the OTC, so not. Nope, no options. Bummer. Well, good for them, you know? Turn that $400,000 company into a $4 million company. So, hey, all right. Teddy Oneness also asks super chats. Also, can't effing believe USAID ends like this. Pretty hard to hate USAID when you're fed by them. Guess not anymore. Hope farmers scream a decision. Yeah, a huge amount of money that goes directly to farmers in the U.S. comes from USAID feeding people around the world. If you can't understand why it's good to have a soft power diplomacy like USAID, I don't know how to help you. I don't know how to like. The U.S. uses resources from all over the world, right? And so a lot of places that are resource rich have been brutalized by colonization for the last several hundred years, and their populations are always like on the precipice of failure because of that colonization. So one of the things the United States government does, which is, can be altruistic and can have a secondary benefit, which is, go into a place like Botswana and ensure that the adult population can manage their AIDS epidemic. Go to a place like Sudan and feed a bunch of kids. You go and you help people. It doesn't cost us that much money. It's like $60 billion a year. Not even that. I think it's $40 billion a year for us to go in and use USAID to help people. And I've talked about this a gajillion times. USAID also had thousands of epidemiologists stationed all over the world that would stop outbreaks of novel zoonotic viruses before they spread. And then Trump cut that program, and we immediately had, big old spread of viruses. I just gotta close the door because the roommates are always loud. So yeah, we like every time they cut one of these programs, the blowback is going to be so very much more expensive than anything you could possibly imagine. There's a reason why China is doing the Belt and Road Initiative. They're spending $1 trillion building schools, ports, airports, highways, train systems all over the world in these impoverished nations. And it's not because of the goodness of China's heart. It's because they want the resources in those nations, and the best way to get that is to provide for the people in those places. And so China is going to kick our ass when it comes to getting these resources. And here we are, just willingly being like, fuck the kids. And you'll hear things from the people who are like supporting this, like, we should take care of our veterans at home and not pay money to these foreigners. Guess who wants to cut the Veterans Administration? Trump. He wants to eliminate Veterans Affairs entirely. He wants to make it so disabled vets don't get money from the government. So, you know, you can't be like, well, at least we're going to take care of veterans when we're not even going to fucking do that, man. So, no. I think, you know, the richest nation on earth, who has a history of its own colonial aspirations and oppressing people all over, I think it's okay for us to spend this chunk of money, you know, feeding some kids, making sure AIDS doesn't spread, because if AIDS spreads elsewhere, then it spreads here as well, and it just everyone just has AIDS. That's a great way to do it. So yeah, we really need to figure our shit out. And figuring our shit out doesn't involve just arbitrarily cutting programs willy-nilly so that we have no diplomatic recourse on the globe. Like if you get rid of the carrot, all you have left is the stick. But even then, we're cutting a lot of the stick. We're cutting, you know, they want to get rid of the CIA and get rid of FBI counterterrorism investigators. So, you know, are we just going to like fire blindly like Yosemite Sam on the global stage when other nations have like working intelligence operations? We're so fucking stupid. It's just boggles the mind. Anyway, yeah, so we're gonna bankrupt the farmers, we're gonna bankrupt the construction workers, we're gonna bankrupt the real estate guys, we're gonna make it so we can't get resources from overseas, we're gonna make sure we can't get chips to build products. We're just gonna isolate ourselves in this little dome and pay, you know, 10,000 times too much for shitty AI versus the rest of the world, and then we're gonna be like, yeah, good job, and that'll be that. Oh, and then we're going to put everyone in camps. So, there. But at least, you know, the 4 trans athletes in the U.S. can't play a sport. We got that done. So, good job. Good job. You know, some poor little girl who likes playing soccer. Fuck you. Sit at home. Think about what you did. Our priorities are so messed up. Attaining oneness, but trans rock god, those 10 college athletes might end up in the world as we know it. I'm being sarcastic, of course. I know. It's just... You guys do know that the first real act of violence that Hitler's government took against a minority was at the Institute for Sex, which was a research facility that performed the first sex change operation and studied like trans people. And the famous book burning the Nazis did was they burned the library at that institute. So when they're like, oh, Nazis burned books, you got to look at which books they were burning. Where did they start? Who do they target first? You target the most vulnerable, teeny tiny minority you can, and you start from there. Because, you know, even if there's this teeny vulnerable minority, you can still foment enough hatred against that small, insignificant group that you can just wipe them off the map, and then you just whet the appetite for the machine of doing it more later. So that's all they're doing, man. Trans people make up less than 0.6% of the entire population. 0.6%. So basically 1 in 500, 1 in 450. That's about how many trans people there are. Is that a huge number? You know, like they talk about, oh, we need to make sure we don't do the hormone blockers in children. And there's like 30 kids a year who get it. This is not something that you consume the brain power of an entire nation. When we just have a couple of people who are like, you know what? my brain is in the wrong body. And that's what it comes down to. You can take the brains out of somebody who's trans and compare them to somebody who's cisgendered, and the brain's in the wrong body. That's all it is to it. It's so simple. Like, if you were transphobic and you woke up tomorrow in the body of the opposite sex, just magically, poof, you're a dude, you found yourself with lady bits, would you resign yourself to your new life as a woman, or would you try to change back? If you resigned yourself to your life as a new woman, congratulations, you're trans. If you wanted to change back, then congratulations, your brain is in the wrong body. There you go. So it doesn't hurt you in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't. So chill out, baby. Chill. These are kids trying to like get exercise and have fun. So let them get exercise and have fun. Who cares what bits they have? I don't give a shit. You know? If it raises competition, then it raises competition. Cool. I don't care. Corporate Walnut, China China harvesting laser energy? Harvesting laser, I don't even know what that means. China harvesting laser energy? China is building a giant laser facility to master near limitless clean energy. Satellite images appear to show Satellite images show China is building a huge nuclear fusion facility near the southwestern city of Mianyang. Okay, so it looks like it's like what we're doing at Lawrence Livermore. Basically, you take a pill of a fusible material, tritium, helium-3, something like that, and you focus a kajillion lasers on it. Basically, you put so much energy into it that it fuses everything, and when it fuses, it releases more energy than you put in with the lasers. That's sort of like the rudimentary cold fusion reactors that we're building. So yeah, it looks like they're doing one of those. Yeah, I mean, that's what we should be doing, because we got to go to the moon and get all that helium-3 so we can make fusion reactors, so we can get rid of coal fire plants and combustion cars and oil plants and everything else. We can just, make some happy gases and power everything. So, yeah. So not necessarily harvesting laser energy, using lasers to do fusion. And Attaining Oneness agreed, I prefer my teams to win, no participation trophy. You know how old I was when I got my first participation trophy? I was 20 years old. When I was 19, so I had you guys know my history. I went off to school to go to San Diego, got hit by a car, left for dead. My bell was rung pretty well. Couldn't start school, lost my baseball scholarship. Started doing tech work. So that summer I've been doing tech work, but I got hired by Rivals.com to be a junior network administrator. I was making way too much money, doing basically nothing. Had an absolute crap load of stock options, and I was like, holy crap, and retired at 19. And then .com bubble went poof. Around when I was just about turned 20. And I was essentially jobless. The only work I found from was like working as a barista in a grocery store for a little while. And I was like, I'm going back to playing baseball. So I was touring around the country, going to baseball tryouts for major league clubs and independent minor league teams and stuff. And my little sister, who was 9-10 years old at the time, I would go to her swim meets. I take her to like swim practice because I had my evenings free, whatever, and I help people out. And one day at one of my little sister's swim meets, her coach comes up to me and is like, "What are you doing right now?" I'm like, "Not really much of anything." And she's like, "I will turn you into a 50 free champion." I was like, "That sounds like fun." And so I started swimming with a whole bunch of little kids. It was like me and a whole bunch of like 10-year-olds, grown ass man, 6'4", 210 pounds, swimming with a whole bunch of like wee little children. And she turned me into a 50 free. In 6 months, she turned me into somebody who was putting up pretty close to Olympic qualifying times on 50 free. And I was swimming like crazy. I received at 19, 20 years old, I think I may have been 20 years old at the time. my first participation trophy ever. Let's see if I might have it still. Where is it? One sec. Give me un momento, por favor. Man, I don't think I have it. I think I may be on the shelf in my mom's house. I'll have to go find that someday. But it's just like a picture of a swimmer like diving off a block, and it's like Bainbridge Island Swim Club, 2001 or whatever. Yeah. Oh shit, monkey butt, peanut butter. Gabapentin, a little bit of Tylenol. Put into some peanut butter. Make a happy monkey butt. Yeah. We don't want her still hurting. We got do the good stuff here. Boink. It's pretty scientific process. You just put the peanut butter in there, go like that, and say, "Hey, monkey butt, you want some peanut butter? Yeah. You want to go to taste over here? Oh, watch out for that cone. Get in there. Slurp that off of there. Yeah, grab it. There it is. Yep, slurpy, slurpy. I do this like every 2 hours. I did my night show the other night. I totally forgot to do her pills. So it's like doing my show. So her pill schedule got off by about an hour. Okay, there's a piece right there. You got that with your tongue? Okay. Yep. Just a little flavor saver in the cone. Perfect. Slobbery spoon. I will put the slobbery spoon right there. Okay. All right. So, anyway, boomers are who gave everybody participation trophies, by the way. So the boomers who hate participation trophies, that was their idea to begin with. All right. Whew, you got peanut butter breath, buddy. Yes, you do, you little cone dog. Cone dog, the Snowbarian. All right. Murph and Turf Studios, happy birthday, Houston. Doing my annual Oscars death race to watch all of the nominees before the ceremony. Have you seen the Best Pictures noms yet? I haven't seen much of anything. Oscars nominees 2025. Okay. So, Emily Perez is Best Picture, Complete Unknown is Best Picture, Conclave is Best Picture, Nickel Boys is Best Picture, I'm Still Here is Best Picture, The Substance is Best Picture, Dune Part 2. I saw Dune Part 2. I saw that one. Wicked, Best Picture. Anora, Best Picture. The Brutalist, Best Picture. Okay, I've seen Dune Part 2. And I don't think Dune Part 2 is that good. It was basically a montage. It was like 2.5 hours of montage. And then it was over. And I was like, oh, okay. Just like bullet points. Like it's like reading bullet points in a fact sheet. Not the most intriguing thing in the entire world. I was kind of bored by it. So yeah, of the 10 nominees, I've seen one. So, there we go. My roommate said Conclave was the most boring thing he'd ever seen in his entire life. So there's that. I have no interest in Wicked. I absolutely loathe every song in Wicked. I think it's the worst music I've ever heard in my entire life. And not just because it's bad, but there's also a personal hatred for it from the fact that I had a roommate in college and she listened to the Wicked soundtrack every day, all day, the entire time we lived together for like a year. And I can't stand it. It is terrible. I don't give a shit what the story's about. I don't care about the acting. The music is so bad that, so I'm not going to see that. And I have no idea what any other movies are about. Never heard of them. So, yeah. I would like to see the Wallace and Gromit movie. I like Wallace and Gromit. I should probably see Inside Out 2 because my sister's old roommate is one of the voice actresses in that. So that would probably be good. Yeah, I've never heard of any of these. None. I don't know what any of them are about whatsoever. So, what other nominees we have here? I wish you'd tell me what movies. Some of these, like, it's like Guy Pearce nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Well, what's Guy Pearce in? I have no idea. Tell me the movie that he's in. Up there. Yeah, I've never heard of any of this. So, I guess I would my Oscars death race is longer than yours probably at this point since I've seen one. I think the only movie I saw in the theater this year was Furiosa. That was it. I just wanted to support George Miller, and the fact that Fury Road is the single greatest action movie I've ever seen. It is number one on my list, far above anything else. I wanted to go out and support Furiosa. Furiosa is a really good movie. They cheapened it a little bit by doing a lot of green screening and stuff that Mad Max Fury Road did not do. And that's what I like about Mad Max Fury Road so much. Like, the story for Furiosa was great. It's just there was a lot of computer stuff and green screening that was not present in Fury Road. So, yeah. Agro Crag Aficionado Super Chats H Jizz. How much Levitra will Jimmy take next week? Well, we're down 24.73, kind of on the week. Implied volatility is really, really, really low still. So GME options chain. Boom. Okay, where are we? Implied volatility for the weeklies that ended today. We're still sitting at like 50%. That's freakishly low. If we want to look at, stuff that's a couple weeks out, still at 50%. Right around, you look at stuff that is just out of the money is $1.23, and some of the bids are 87 cents. They're just 50 cents out of the money. That's pretty crazy. Like, in November, when we had just the teeniest little run, if you wanted a weekly, these are 2 weeks out right here. If you wanted a weekly for the next Friday, you're paying $1.87. So you're paying more than $1, more than 100% more on this than you are for a couple weeks out. I want to look at the monthlies for April, which are probably, if you're going to buy things that are in the money, this might be the way to go. Even now, applied volatility, 81% at the money, 83% just out of the money. This is probably where I'm going to buy. I might wait until that last week of February to get in there, because I think March is when the implied volatility start to rise. So I'll get a teeny bit of theta decay on that, but I'm probably going to buy something around, 50 cents or $1 out of the money or in the money. Just one of those. Like right now, a 35-cent difference between $24 and $25, not that big a deal. But when you get to when they do their annual earnings in March, the implied volatility is going to shoot up to 300%. This right here will probably be $500 at the money. Then we'll get a little bit of price action leading into the earnings. Might go up to close to $30. So then you're adding another $600 in premium on each contract. So you might be able to turn $380 into about $1,200 by the time the week of earnings comes around, just by buying at the right time. And that's, I'm gonna play it safe that way and just kind of see where it goes. And then, maybe Roaring Kitty will do that thing in April again where he buys 100,000 contracts for May. What's the May monthlies? Have those come out yet? For no, the May monthlies haven't come out yet. So once we get to April, March, April, the Mays will start to come out, and we may see like May, what would be like 20th? What's the calendar? Come on, calendar. Bing, bing, bing. It'd be May 1, 2, 3, May 23rd. So the May 23rd will be the monthlies. So if you see huge 5,000 contract buys sometime in April for those Mays, then maybe it's on like Donkey Kong again. We can hope. there's always hope, right, Floor Dog? You're hoping that someday you just scoop a bone into your cowl or cone there. Nice, Elizabethan collar. Anonymous super chats. Is the U.S. done for, or is there a chance to save it? There's always a chance to save it. I just don't think we're going to. The Democrats are a bunch of weak, spineless little dorkwads. Every once in a while, you get one who's like, "This is bullshit. Let's fight," but they're drowned out by the "Oh, I wish someone would do something." People. Steve Bannon talked about how the success of the Trump administration turning this into a fascist dictatorship is going to have to do with flooding the zone. Basically, they do so many executive orders in bullshit things that no one can pay attention to it, right? So today we're talking about, they did a trans, we're getting rid of the trans stuff today, but we're ignoring the fact that they're getting rid of soft diplomacy, that they're getting rid of counterintelligence, that they're getting rid of our intelligence community, that they're, vaporizing Social Security and government pensions and, the Veterans Affairs, and like they're doing so many horrible things that we can't pay attention to it all. It's just too much. And Steve Bannon used the term muzzle velocity when talking about this. He wanted muzzle velocity. He wanted as fast as possible, as many things as possible, just spray and pray and hope that the state's attorney generals, the ACLU, and other groups just can't keep up with the lawsuits. And then because you control a good chunk of the judiciary, it won't matter if there's stays put in place. Stop doing that, government, because if it ever gets appealed to a higher court, it's just going to get overturned because they're bought and paid for by Trump and company, right? And even then, federal government said, hey, you can't cut U.S. aid. The court said you can't do that. Trump's doing it anyway. It's like, stop me. What the fuck are you going to do about it, right? You can get some FBI agent fired, just make me stop? So that's kind of what we're doing. So if you are, I don't know about other parts of the country, but at least the West Coast, you have this lockstep of a huge chunk of geography, lots of mineral wealth, lots of cash wealth, a very wealthy, educated population through Washington, Oregon, California. If I were the governor's group in these, maybe even add Hawaii in there, I would look at the possibility of insulating yourself from the rest of the government. Either making Cascadia, joining Canada, becoming some sort of semi-autonomous offshoot of the rest of the government, and just being like, you know what, you don't get our tax dollars anymore. We're going to spend it all here. Screw the rest of you. It'll piss people off. It could lead to civil war or whatever. But just caving and acquiescing to the fascist whims of the current government in charge is not going to benefit the citizenry anywhere. We've talked about it. Donald Trump is actively trying to vaporize 20% or more of the GDP. The global financial crisis, or the great financial crisis, whatever you want to call it, of 2008 was 4.5%. So we're looking to get to Great Depression levels of GDP loss or more with these actions by Trump. And no one benefits from it. Like, I had a dude today comment, he's like, oh, Trump's your president, you expect 12 more years of L's, loser. I'm like, buddy, you're going to be taking those L's just as much as I am. Like, you and your technical college degree are not going to be able to do shit against any of this. You're doomed as much as I am doomed. Like, no one's winning here. The only people who are winning are going to be the handful of billionaires who raid the treasury and have everything. That's it. So we're all going to lose. It's just that I already see that we're going to lose, and you can't see it at all because you are so blinded by the, Elon schlongs in your face that you're just happily gobbling down. That it's like willingly defending a billionaire who's screwing you over is the weirdest love affair one could possibly have. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't. He's not going to give you crumbs, man. You're going to get nothing out of it. You're getting nothing out of it except for being used and abused. You know, there's a meme I saw the other day that showed like some dinosaurs looking up at the meteor coming down to vaporize them all during the Permian Triassic extinction, and they have little red MAGA hats on. They're like, "Suck it, libtards." No, dude, the comet's gonna kill you too. Like, you are not going. You're not going to escape it. You are a victim of this as much as anyone else. It's just that you're too fucking stupid to realize it. And I don't know if it's COVID brain. I don't know if it's the fact that we are educating our population, haven't been doing a very good job of that for decades now. But man, you are as much a victim of this as I am. You know, all those Nazis in Germany are like, oh, yeah, Hitler's #1. And then they're like crawling out of their bombed out buildings looking for any emergency rations that the American GIs can pass along to them. That is the end result of this. You do not make friends by pissing people off. And if you piss off people enough, they start shooting at you and dropping bombs. You aren't going to win this. You're going to lose this. If Trump gets into military conflicts with others at this point, he has half the country against him. At least, right? And the rest of the world. So if Trump's only friends end up becoming like North Korea, China, and Russia, it's like a trifecta of losers. Why do we want to band together with the fucking losers of the world? What is it about losers you find so appealing? I don't understand it. I try to wrap my head around it. I'm like, oh, look at that Confederate. What a fucking loser. I'm going to go hang out with that guy. I identify with him so hard because I'm so cool. I'm going to go hang out with a bunch of fucking losers. So yeah, I think at this point, unless some, Deus Ex Machina comes along and fixes everything, we're pretty screwed. So it's time to start thinking about how to insulate yourself, or at least insulate your local population from the effects of it, and peeling off into various kingdoms is probably the balkanization of America is probably the most likely outcome of that. And that's a shitty thing to have because remember, our diversity is our strength. And if we make ourselves into tiny little enclaves, well, there goes the diversity, there goes the strength. And Putin goes, ha ha ha, I win. And there you go. All right. Daniel Motes, hey, Houston, happy birthday. Do you have any idea of what your hope, the plan is for GME, BBY, Beyond, Butterfly, etc.? Well, at the very least, Beyond has already tipped their hand. They're like, we are going to tokenize Baby and put it onto T0. Boom, that's enough right there to cause some squeezing of at least the Beyond stock. The Hope Springs Eternal side is that Beyond's market cap is so small and GME has so much cash on hand that the ultimate play is GME gobbles them all up, takes in Baby, or a BBBYQ, and makes some sort of conglomerate out of a SPAC. And then all sorts of shares start swapping back and forth for everybody who holds them all. That's the ultimate. So at the very least, Beyond is going to do something about squeezing their stock price by tokenizing at least a portion of their holdings. But yeah, RC needs to do something. A lot of the rumors are about him getting a divorce. It's likely. I mean, if you're a woman married to a MAGA in this country, you're filing for a divorce. That's just what's been happening. So her seeing like him going raw Trump raw and just kind of being just a racist prick, probably rubbed her the wrong way, and she's like, I'm going back to Canada. So yeah, that's probably what's happening there. If I don't know if they're actually getting divorced or it's just another Ryan Cohn who happens to live at his address that's doing it, but that's bad. It's bad for business. It's bad for mergers. It's bad for things if you're going through this stuff. And yeah. So I mean, his wife could, if depending on their way, if they have a prenup or whatever, his wife could end up owning, you know, 5-10% of GME at that point. And what's she gonna do with it? What's her plans, right? Is she gonna be a jilted lover and be like, I'm gonna tank this fucker? Or, which is like the plot of Ted Lasso, or is she gonna be like, all right, let's roll with it, do whatever? I don't know. I don't know. So this is why you don't wait. You don't wait 4 years to pull the trigger on something. You just do it now because you don't know if the love of your life is going to leave your ass because you put on a MAGA hat. So, yeah. Figure it out. Okay. Hey, I'm only an hour behind in the chat. I haven't even made to the start of the show yet. N9, methinks RC don't give two shits about us or anything else. If it weren't for Roaring Kitty, I'd lose all hope. RC, do something. I agree. Boris Raspy, Houston, Moas or regular squeeze, I'm losing hope. A regular squeeze is fine with me because I can do an options play to make a boatload. So we can have a regular squeeze and I can play the options play. And if it goes Moas, I've got my shares. Boom. We're fine either way. So that's why I'm playing both. I want to say Mariano Rivera, but it's actually Marlon Rivera. Is immigration a human right? Why does the U.S. have so many undocumented and how to prevent more people from coming undocumented? To an extent, I think immigration is a human right. I mean, you have to remember, like 150 years ago, half the United States was part of Mexico. That was Mexico. So Mexicans coming in, it's like, well, this was their land to begin with. So no, I part of the problem with undocumented immigration has to do with what we do overseas. So if we destroy the economies of Central American countries, South American countries, Caribbean countries, and we make their economies so horrible so that warlords take over, despots take over, dictators take over, etc., the people are going to leave. And where they're going to leave? They're going to leave to the nation that's the wealthiest in the world, that's closest to them. So they're going to come here. That's just natural. Like if suddenly everything went to shit here in the United States and you found yourself like swarmed with armed gangs and juntas and things like that, you're going to go, I'm going to go flee to Canada. Why? Because Canada is the next wealthiest, most put together nation in North America. So you're going to flee there, right? If maybe you might head to Mexico because it's closer, but as far as like stability and income and everything, Canada's got a little more of the infrastructure in place to deal with that. So yeah, they're going to gravitate here. It's a problem we caused with United Fruit, the CIA, the School of the Americas, etc. Drug cartels, all that stuff. We caused it. We consume the drugs. We export the guns and the cash. It's our problem. So us having these immigrants come here, well, that's what happens when you become an imperial nation, is that those you colonize end up in your country. Okay. I don't have a problem with the immigrants. I do not have a problem with the immigrants. I do not see these undocumented immigrants as a giant existential threat to our nation. They do jobs that the rest of us are too proud to do. There is an economy for that. That's the way every country with immigration has happened. I mean, if there's being an immigrant and then there's being an expat, right? And people are like, oh, they're both immigrants. No, they're not. Expats come with money and they don't do shit, right? Like I have a friend who's looking to move to Spain, or sorry, to Italy, and she's buying a house, and she's like, I'm leaving. She's going to get to Italy. She's not going to have to work. She's going to have a house. She's going to live basically a retired life. She's an expat. If she were going to Italy to work in a kitchen for €5 an hour and scrape by, she's definitely an immigrant. Like, there's two different stratas there. The rich Britons who moved to Portugal with a house on the water, they're expats. They're not immigrants, right? They're not fleeing anything. They're not trying to like get that better life they couldn't get in the UK. They just want warmer weather, and they're bringing their money with them. So like the people coming here to the United States, the ones that buy up real estate, those are expats. The ones that are doing your roofing and picking your lettuce, those are immigrants. And we have to look at that stratification there very clearly. So yeah, if you want to prevent people from immigrating here, you do a couple of things. One, you don't create a system where they can have jobs, which means you're going to pay a lot more for things. You know, if you can't pay your roofers $10 an hour, you got to pay them $40 an hour. Then putting roofs on houses is going to be a lot more expensive, right? If you can't pay somebody picking lettuce $5 an hour, you got to pay them $40 an hour. Your lettuce is going to be a lot more expensive. So you just gotta accept that fact. And if you do something, you know, say use an agency like, I don't know, USAID to go into Guatemala and make life better for people in Guatemala, then they're gonna have no need to come here. But no, we just vaporized that program that was already underfunded, and we're just gonna have everything fall apart, I guess. Jiga Shukla super chats. People all across America are for democracy and not just the West Coast. We outnumber the oligarchs 1,000,000-1. Hold the line. If they can flood the zone, so can we. Oh yeah, I mean, free Luigi. Just get some Luigis out there. If, you know, I could probably say that because they fired everybody in the terrorism FBI. But yeah, they're declaring class war on you. So why not fight back? Right? Like, I imagine 50 years from now, there's going to be talk about, like, if you had a time machine, would you go back and rip out May Musk's ovaries? Would you kill baby Elon? That's going to be the questions that we're going to be asking people 50 years from now. Just like we talk about, you know, would you use a time machine to go back and kill baby Hitler? Like, that is where we are. You can see into the future, and you can know that eliminating Elon Musk from humanity probably would have a positive impact on humanity. So Elon doesn't like that, but it's the truth. Like, it's the truth. Yeah. So there you go. I gotta get going. Short show for Friday. I'm gonna try and do another GeoGuessr this weekend, so I'll see you guys for that. By all means, come by GeoGuessr. I think the link for the Twitch is down there somewhere. It's a nice, intimate show. If you're a night owl or an early European who's getting up early, you can hang out. We can ask you all the questions you want. I get to answer them as I'm yelling out road numbers across the UK. And it's like relaxed. It's calm. It's like 10 of you show up. It's pretty nice. It's pretty luxurious, really. And every once in a while, I will blow your mind with my ability at recognizing something from just like Central Mexico, boom, and I'm like within like 5 miles. So it's pretty good. Okay, all right, that it for the day. Anything to add, Floor Dog? No, still sleeping. Okay, we've achieved that. If I don't see you for GeoGuessr this weekend, I will see you Monday. I hope everybody has a fun Super Bowl party, and I guess go Eagles. I'm not really a fan of Kansas City at this point. I understand the necessity of having Kansas City there because just 30 seconds of Taylor Swift on screen brings in like 100 million more viewers. So I get it. I understand the mechanics of that. But I hope Bolton does some amazing things. That's what I want to see. So, all right. I'll see you guys. Have a great day. And regular intro? Right, dog? Yeah.